You are watching the 7 p.m. newscast on DBS television. On our headlines tonight, the torture of a civilian whose brother is suspected to be a separatist fighter has drawn public condemnation in Cameroon. It adds to the many barbaric acts that have been taking place in the ongoing Anglophone crisis, which are highlighted as worsening an already bad situation. An analysis of this in this newscast. And in Douala, we look at one of the many abandoned projects of road rehabilitations in the economic capital of Cameroon, like that of Kilometre 5 in the Douala 2 municipality that has been in an abandoned state for over 2 months since rehabilitation works were launched on this stretch of road. These informations and more would be yours when we return, as we give you in details shortly. Stay with us. Good evening once again, and thank you for joining us for this first edition of the news in the English language for this week on DBS television with me, Cynthia Ngwemo. We begin by taking you to Douala 2 municipality and precisely at the Kilometre 5 neighborhood, where an abandoned road has been causing nightmares to the populations and notably the users of this stretch of road. Rehabilitation works, which began some months back, have been abandoned for reasons that are yet to be known. Nde Vanessa Shuyong in the following report paints a picture of the situation on this stretch of road. Her report.
The metropolitan city of Douala as a whole has a problem of roads and roads maintenance despite effort made by the city council and government. Works seems to be starting all over whenever a stretch of road is being rehabilitated. A case in point is the Kilometre 5 axis road in the Douala 2 municipality, which for almost 2 months have been abandoned by workers.
The person that comes to fix the road have more than 2 months. I can say 1 month. I can say 1 month. Just fix the road. It's fair. Look at everywhere, every day. When change is planning, they must stay. You see, no, it's not nice.
Given it is a junction linking to the Bopi travel agency from the left, Doximi neighborhood from the right, and terminus on Newbell, vehicles and commercial motorbike riders no longer have a clear path to circulate, thereby causing traffic and accidents.
Donc every day, car for you every day. Donc at some time I'm midnight that I 1 o'clock that. Donc the car for there's no one to help. Donc the boy come to help thief no. The thief they come now, they help the person after they start taking everything to the person. Donc that's not nice.
It is full of potholes, forcing some motorbike riders to slow down to meander through this tiny pavement. Some do go extra miles to drop their customers to easily sail across. Commercial motorbike riders and heavy-duty truck owners who spoke on conditions of anonymity say works have been halted due to the non-payment of workers. The rapid degradation of roads therefore causes one to question why at such alarming rate. Is it due to the nature of the soil in Douala, or due to the quality of work being done, or as a lack of proper maintenance?
In the following report, Mange Venasus revisits some of the events surrounding the ongoing Anglophone crisis in Cameroon. Events which he says have taken a more violent turn recently and are instead contributing to fuel up the crisis. The recent events that occurred over the weekend in the Ndu subdivision of the Northwest region is the key focus, or is the focus, in the following report.
At a time the government of Cameroon is grappling with and going through sleepless nights in search of a solution to the 4-year-plus crisis in the Northwest and Southwest regions. At a time when this crisis has been witnessing untold mutations, with human life being debased to the lowest level. At a time the government is celebrating and acclaiming the professional nature of her military. The recent incident in Ndu subdivision of the Northwest region, where a video footage circulating on social media shows men believed to be members of Cameroon Defense Forces, torturing a civilian on the grounds that his brother is a suspected Amba fighter, came like pouring salt on a sore that Cameroonians home and abroad and men of goodwill have been struggling to put behind them when a number of civilians were massacred in the same Ndu subdivision practically 1 year ago. A sore which upon investigation was concluded to have been carried out by defense forces, and those very forces would seem to have been behind this recent one again, still in Ndu subdivision, as the local administrator Adamu Shwaibu Ibrahim, through a document circulating on social media, is said to have called on defense authorities in the locality to immediately launch disciplinary and legal measures against the perpetrators of the inhumane act. It would be such steps from the authorities that may redress the wayward attitude of some element of the defense forces. It is a crisis that is going out of hand from both ends, as report says a notorious separatist fighter summarily executed 4 chiefs in Lebialem division of the southwest region. It is such act that end up fueling the crisis rather than solving it, as the government has been struggling to do. It will be high time both sides understood that the solution cannot come from such barbaric acts.
And still talking about the worsening Anglophone crisis in Cameroon, some 4 chiefs in Lebialem division in the southwest region of Cameroon have been murdered by separatist fighters over the weekend. The 4 chiefs in Esoata village, namely Chief Fominkeng, Chief Fians Ale, Chief Fuajijong, and Chief Fuawehensu, were reportedly kidnapped by the notorious field marshal on Sunday at about 11 p.m. They were then taken to the village market square, where they were publicly shot dead and their corpses dumped in the Betwa River. The cause of the chief's execution is still unknown. However, some inhabitants of the Esoata say it may be linked to the chief's application to the government in order to be made first-class chiefs, added to their participation in the recent regional elections, which was forbidden by separatists in the northwest and the southwest regions of the country. In the following excerpt, we talk about the strike action that was launched by state university lecturers in Cameroon. That was over 1 week ago, which they launched in solidarity with some of their colleagues who had not been able to receive their research allowances as granted by the President of the Republic. In the following excerpt, the communication officer of the National Union of Teachers of Higher Education, abbreviated SINES, says things have returned to normal as the allowances have been paid. Here is the excerpt as selected by Mange Venasius.
Since 11 February 2021, the National Executive Bureau, according to the payment of the allowance to all lecturers, suspend the strike. So until now, we don't have any information concerning a lecturer who were not beneficial for the allowance. So because of the no payment of the extra hours to the different lecturer, we just suspend the strike while waiting for the different schools on faculty to prepare the different fight due to lecturer and pay what they are supposed to receive concerning their extra hour. So when those different lecturers will be paid, National Executive Bureau, as usual, will take the decision which concern lecturers.
The Henri Dunang Hospital Center in Yaoundé has been sensitizing the populations on how to stay healthy by respecting hygiene and sanitary rules. The 5-day event organized by the Cameroon's Red Cross will also be an occasion to present the humanitarian institution's know-how in terms of health care and sanitation. Ate Bonaventure with that.
As part of its humanitarian duties, the Cameroon Red Cross operates health services which many still ignore. Reason why it has opened its doors for the public to discover the different services offered.
Our aim now is to open our center to the whole population, because we want to grow and we want to help population.
Activities of the 5-day event include sensitization on treatment for ailments like cancer, dental care, and the COVID-19.
We have some posts of orientation. They can orient you for the consultation. When we are going to the consultation, even if the specialized consultation, it's free.
The institution is looking forward to inaugurating a new headquarters at the Henry Dunang Hospital Center that will offer specialized services. There are also negotiations with development partners for the extension of these services to other regions.
Over to the east region of Cameroon, Gari Gombo, a locality in the Bumba Ngoko division, now has a petrol station of its own, the very first in the area. The Petroleum Product Service Station, constructed by the Hydrocarbon Price Stabilization Fund, was officially opened last Friday by Luc Magloire Mbarga Atangana, who serves as the chairman of the CSPH Board of Directors, accompanied by other authorities. With a surface area of 200 meters square, with a cost of over 498 million francs CFA, the petrol station brings a breath of relief to commercial motorbike riders and the population at large, as it now allows them to have transportation and petroleum products at a lower cost and better quality. In the following excerpt, Luc Magloire Atangana calls on the population to make good use of the gift. Listen to him.
They have to appreciate, that gift, which is the proof of the high consideration of the head of state, His Excellency Paul Biya, toward population in general, but in particular population of this subdivision of Gari Gombo and the population of the east region. Now, what is waited from them is to use it profitably. It means that we need from them to produce more and to be able, to sell, and to sell also inside, but also outside. I mean, we have our neighbor, the Central African Republic. We need to produce and to feed those population, and the population also of other neighbor countries. We are now involving in what is called the African Continental Free Trade Area. We need to take advantage of this tool. It's a tool of development.
In sports, the ongoing Total Under-20 African Cup of Nations taking place in Mauritania, Cameroon's Under-20 Lions have gotten the first victory against host Mauritania with a score of 1-0 in the opening match, which took place on Sunday, February 14, 2021. The lone goal, which came at the 82nd minute, was scored by attacker Sunday Junior, which gave Cameroon the victory and a possibility of qualifying for quarter-finals. This year's edition marks the 10th participation of Cameroon in the tournament of 12 participating teams. And we round up with news out of Cameroon, looking at the recent attack in the Democratic Republic of Congo by some secessionists that led to the death of some forces of law and order. We also look at the Ebola outbreak in Guinea, where 3 cases of death have already been confirmed after the virus or the epidemic broke out in the Democratic Republic of Congo last week. And finally, we look at Donald Trump's acquittal in his second impeachment trial, as the senators voted to remove him from the impeachment. We shall get this Africa and World Roundup with our intern Rugiatu Buba.
In the Democratic Republic of Congo, 4 members of the security forces and 1 civilian were killed in attacks by separatist rebels in the country's second largest city, Lubumbashi. The attackers are said to come from the Bakata Katanga militia, which is fighting for the Katanga region to secede from Democratic Republic of Congo. In Lubumbashi, there are frequent invasions by Bata Katanga. The latest September attack killed 2 police officers and soldiers. Officials in Guinea have declared an Ebola outbreak after at least 3 people died and 4 fell ill in the southeast. 6 people who attended a funeral reported Ebola-like symptoms. 2 later died and the other 4 have been hospitalized. World Health Organization staffs are already on the ground helping to set up testing and treatment facilities. It is also working with health authorities in neighboring Liberia and Sierra Leone to look for any evidence of cases there. The new wave of the epidemic began last week in the Democratic Republic of Congo, where 2 new deaths have been recorded in the 12th outbreak. In the United States of America, former President Donald Trump has been acquitted by the Senate in his second impeachment trial. He was being tried for his role in the January 6th attack on the United States Capitol that left 5 people dead. After 5 days of debate in the chamber, senators voted 57 to 43 to acquit Trump on Saturday. A conviction would have allowed Senate to disqualify him from holding public office in the future. Donald Trump welcomed his second impeachment acquittal and said his movement has only just begun. He said the trial is another witch hunt in American history.
That marks the end of this Monday's edition of the news in the English language on DBS television. But don't go away, because the press review is up next with Mange Venasius in the English language, and you can also stay with us for the news in the French language at 8 p.m. with Hervé Mopuri. Until we meet again tomorrow, stay blessed. Good night.